Yo, yo, yo. We are live on the SharkCast. Just bear with us while we do the tech. And the Sharks in a 12-all draw. Is that right, Kieran?
Yeah, 12-all.
It was exciting at the end, wasn't it? Boy,
yeah,
oh boy.
Checking that it was 12. It was 12. Because there was a couple of drop balls over the line.
We'll talk about the end. The end was cool. Welcome to SharkCast Pod, a podcast dedicated to the greatest team in the history of the entire world. What I'm doing right now is copying in a link for guys and girls. And on your socials, if you hit that link, it gives you the power to join us in a more personal way. So if we see you pop up in our little waiting room, we can chuck you on and you can have a chat. Not allowed to swear. If you don't want to, there's no pressure. We're just going to see what happens here. But Kieran Fraser joins me, and that's always a great thing when he joins me. My friend, watching the game in luxury today, thanks to the mighty Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. And a 12-ball draw. I was pretty happy with that hit out. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was pretty cool, especially at the end, to see some of the younger players, like seeing Ford and Pollard together with some first graders, seeing Michael Gabriel get some time, seeing Vayella get a bit of an extended period of time there as well. So I thought it was a really good mix of experience and youngsters, but very hard to get a read on where we currently stand as a team, though, because, again, that's a very different squad to what we would normally expect.
Yeah, so looking at the team list ahead of us over there, there's Will Kennedy, Sione Katoa, Kale Lero, and then Tom Hazelton, Oregon Kafusi. And then you think people like Stone Street and Atkinson, Hamlin Welly will come into the picture as well immediately. And then the rest are just, doing their best to sort of compete with the big fellas. But they really represented the jersey well. I thought they played well today. They played with, great conviction, like good defense mostly. And we saw a great thing happen down the right-hand side of the field in the second half, a bomb try, if you will.
Too polite.
Two guys at the end trying to catch put the ball down. But who was involved with that? Was it your boy Katoa with the kick?
It was Atkinson and I think maybe Vayella were the two guys going for the ball. I can't remember who put the kick in, though.
Was it Katoa?
I think it might have been like an inside kick, but yeah.
No, it might have been a young fella. We just watched the game of rugby league and it flew by. We did have, thanks to the Sharks, the KO stream on, but bear with us on some of the names and faces. But overall, a really good performance from the Sharks. Quick shout out to our friend Sean, old friend of the show. He loves sitting in the upper ET when he can, like we all do. And the second half, so we did a little post at halftime. We're not expecting everyone to have seen that, but we did a post at halftime stream, and we talked about the first half. But overall, I thought the forwards in particular were very dominant, which is what we want to see this year from the Sharks. And they were led by a fellow who's coming off his off a lot of press during the week, Tom Hazelton. He was great tonight.
Yeah, he was really good, really strong in that first half, especially. I thought it was interesting to see how much time some of those forwards got. Like Hamlin Ueli, he played a lot longer than I thought he would. I thought Puru, the new Puru, was quite impressive for us as well. But also, too, some of the younger guys who we haven't had a chance to actually see at first grade, like Fernley, I thought the size of him, and just looking at the stats, too, Felix only played the last 10 minutes, but 6 runs for 43 meters.
Well, every time he moves about 4 meters at a time because he's so huge. That's always a highlight of these trials, to see the young fellas get a go. And we had a chance right at the end, as if you've watched the game, I'm assuming everyone watch the game. And although we are doing an audio podcast as well for people. But at the end, we had the chance to ice the game with a field goal. And I think it was it Beryl that went left?
Beryl went left.
Beryl went left to the great Harodi, and he couldn't work his magic again. He had a good game. But
it looked good.
On the right, or in the center to the right, we had Riley Pollard, and we had Taj Ford
both
in field goal position, and the whole crowd was waiting for it. The Sharks bench was waiting for it, but unfortunately they went left. And I feel like the coach will show that to these young fellas again, and maybe get Beryl aside and say, "Hey, next time go right." But as as some of your friends, now my friends, were saying, sitting with us, Dave and Dylan, sometimes it's fun just to go for the try rather than a field goal, or we thought maybe we had a chance at a penalty goal as well. It didn't happen. But so, it's not the end of the world, but they would have potentially kicked a match-winning field goal at that time. So it wasn't meant to be. But you're right, Kieran, to see some of those combos throughout the game. So we saw Kafusi and Hazleton and BHU start off, and at the end we saw combos like Ford and Pollard. It's really good to see all these combinations coming together from all spectrums of the club. And Warriors put out a pretty healthy team. They were missing RTS in the end, but they had a competitive team out there.
And people like Fisher Harris was really going hard. He was kick pressuring Atkinson. Every time there was a kick, he was making sure that he was on the ground, giving a little bit of niggle. So to me, that was a pretty interesting point. And just to see the Sharks to go as deep as we did, because there is a lot of first graders that we did not put in that squad today. So next week versus the Raiders is going to be super interesting, because Fitz has said that it's going to be closer to our round one team. But I love seeing those guys get a chance. And to Fitz's point earlier in the week with you, is that some of these guys were playing for the very first time out of their own age group. So that's super exciting for me too. Yeah,
a lot of young guys out there. We talked about Lockie Crouch at halftime. He looks like a mean footballer, which is what we want. We saw a great burst from Michael Gabriel, who did the tackle turnover, got the ball back, ran like Sonic the Hedgehog. Then unfortunately turned the ball over at the end of that run. But that was pretty exciting, I thought.
Yeah, and things like that, if that's round one and he makes that break, he's probably playing it a little bit safer than it's a trial game, right? In a trial game, he's just foot to the floor. I'm going to try and go 70, 80 meters, right? Whereas in round one, a bit more pressure. If he was in that situation, similar to at the end with the field goal, they are going for the field goal in round one. Whereas in a trial game, they're trying to score points. They're trying to see what our attack looks like and push the envelope. So a good learning experience for a lot of those guys. But yeah, Gabriel, if you give him a little bit of space, he's gone.
Yeah, super quick. Thanks, Ryan, for tuning in. The Warriors did almost have their best 17. Absolutely. Our old favorite Buck has said, we pushed with our young fellas. Yeah, absolutely. And the exciting thing, as Kieran said, is in less than a week, oh my God, less than a week, we go to Canberra and we'll have a more star-studded team, you would think. I think anyone under an injury cloud won't play, but otherwise you're going to get close, probably for the opening 30, 40 minutes, you're going to get close to your Vegas round one team, I would think, all being well.
Yeah, and for this team, right, there's not a lot of changes. Fanua Blake's really the only new guy that we've got, right? So there's not a lot of testing that we have to do in these trials, right? It's kind of one of those situations where get the minutes into the legs and get the bodies moving and get the bodies used to that physical contact, and then see how we go. So I will probably miss watching that Raiders game live because of some circumstances, but I'm super keen to see the results of that, because I think that's going to be a really good indication of what we can expect in Vegas.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm very intrigued how many minutes they play. I'm always quite obsessed with that kind of thing. We did speak to the coach the other week on our podcast, and he wasn't that stressed about trials. And it looked like there weren't too many injuries out there tonight. I think Katoa had a moment, maybe.
Yeah, he looked fine at the end. He was cheering the boys on.
So they got through that, and it was a good tussle. It was a tough trial match. They didn't hold back either team. As you said, Fisher Harris was a man on a mission. I can't wait till he plays against our boy Fanua Blake. That's going to be quite the clash.
Just seeing Fanua Blake on the sideline just then, and he was cheering the team on. He was with Fafita. He was standing next to Fafita, and he is Fafita's size. And that's a weird statement, because Fafita is such a giant human. When you see Fafita in person, you actually realize how big he is. And yes, we've got big players, but to actually have this guy that's going to come in, be aggressive, be angry, I'm so excited for Fanua Blake.
Yeah, it's a good time to be a Sharks fan. Our friend Danny says Pollard looked good in his limited time. He did look good. We noticed that he was off the ball, calling a lot of things and directing players around, and that's exactly what you need from your halves. So there's a lot of potential there. He's still got a way to go, but hit outs like this are really important for the trajectory of his career, and he definitely didn't let us down. None of them did. I thought, everyone out there had a real crack. There were no real negatives. I mean, there was some spilt ball, but it's the first sort of football they've experienced this year. We saw guys like Stone Street sort of had some great moments, some less moments, but he sort of made up for the ones that weren't so good. So overall, a strong hit out. Danny also says the other Puru, and we're going to have to learn his name, looks to be a very handy backup for back row, and he does. He plays with a real confidence and a real kind of motor. Like I never really thought he was going to break too many tackles or anything, but he just was making sort of 7-8 meters every time, dragging defenders in. So hopefully he's got an offload in him or something. But he looks very fit.
Yeah, he kind of had that kind of pinball-y characteristic, right, of that middle, right, where he bounce off tackles, can pop an offload. And also I thought it was quite interesting that when Beryl wasn't playing 9, again, I don't want to disrespect his name, so I don't want to say his name wrong, but New Puru was playing in
it's Hohepa, something close to that. So we send our love to him.
I will practice that name I will get it right. I apologize. But to see him as that, we had heard some rumors that he was going to be that kind of third string number 9 behind Beryl, but to actually see it and see him getting out, I thought that was quite interesting as well.
Yeah, shout out to our friend David. Said good trial. Thanks for tuning in, David. One of the OGs of SharkCast, Fitz. I must admit the lack of, what's that mean? What am I reading here from Fitz?
The lack
of width in attack did look a lot under 10s. Fitzy, Fitz, not Fitzy. We love you, man. I mean, they played it safe a lot. I don't know what Fitz is trying to say here, but it's great to hear from him.
I think that's also too, like, there's a lot of changes there in that spine, right? So again, you're not going to get the same attacking game plan that they're going to have.
So sorry, Fitz, lack of width in attack. I got you. I've got my funny glasses on.
Yeah, the lighting in here is, I blame Gaz.
Well, the lighting's a lot better. If you would have tuned in at halftime, and you can go back and watch it somewhere, probably on the YouTubes and the socials, it was a bit dark, but it was dark for a reason, because I had these flashing strobe lights on. It was very kind of, I think the Sharks employee Troy comes in here and dances at night to the music that he loves with the strobe. But we fixed that up. So thankfully, touch wood, it's all going good. We have been joined by a special guest. If he's ready to rock on in, you can just take a seat.
I'm going to tag out, tag in.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I've got to go. I've got to pack some bags. I'm out.
So Kieran's off to Nashville, Tennessee for work. Yes. He's a country singer.
I am.
And he will be on SharkCast next, probably. When will that be? Probably round 1 in Vegas.
Vegas. See you guys in Vegas.
Okay. He doesn't know he hasn't got a mic anymore. He said, see you all in Vegas. See you, Kieran. Take care, my man.
Hey,
love you, man. Gary Dover has joined us. Gary's out there taking photos for the Sharks, doing a whole lot of other things as well.
I'll tell you what.
Yes,
my
sir.
Match fitness on those stairs is not up to scratch.
Well, did you know that we, at halftime, so you're in here doing the live stream, and then we looked out, and I didn't realize the game had started. Second half had started, sort of missed the kickoff. And then you were already in your position. And Kieran goes, how fit's Gary?
Not very at the moment.
So you're doing the sprint down there?
No, I wasn't sprinting.
Oh.
I just know the shortcuts.
Yeah, right.
Run, so no, it was good.
Shout out to Casey, old friend of ours. She said, Stoney looked good. He did look good. He had some really good moments. Some moments he'd probably like to have back. But overall, I thought it was a positive performance, and the upside to him is huge. So hopefully he can stick around for a long time and be a local legend.
Absolutely.
What's happening out there on the field, Gary?
Not much. Just got a couple of post-match interviews with a couple of the boys, so they'll be up on sharks.com.au tonight or tomorrow.
Yep.
Give me some time to cut them up. But yeah, good vibes. Spoke to Hohepa Puru and
so that's how we're pronouncing it, Hohepa?
Hohepa, yeah.
Okay.
Everyone calls him Pep, so
okay.
Call him what you like.
I call him Hohepa, and you spoke to Marwini as well. He had a great game.
He did.
Rewarded with a All-Stars jersey, in case people didn't. Is that the right term, All-Stars?
Yeah. Multi All-Stars.
Yeah. So he'll be playing rep footy in the coming weeks, which is awesome. What was the vibe like amongst the crowd out there, Gary? I was a bit separated from the crowd. What was the vibe like?
It was good. Like, especially down that southern end down there, they really get into it. So especially when we went over there, but it was disallowed.
Oh yeah,
everyone was sort of up and about that and looking at the scoreboard and thinking we were kind of down and out. But then, worked our way back and got that nice little try at the end. So it was good. Good vibes.
Did you hear from the Shark Cage? They're all over the Instagram. They're probably watching this now. Shark Cage. It's a new kind of gathering of sharks.
All
Did you hear them singing it all down there? Or?
There's lots of new signs and cool stuff.
Yeah, that's
down there,
them
so
probably.
That must be them.
Awesome.
So
Good on
keep
them.
it up and get back here.
Excellent.
It's looking good.
Adam says Hiroti was good. He always is. The red hair dude was too.
Brad Fernley?
Oh yeah, he's tough
good.
looking
Big
hombre.
dude. Yeah,
I'm loving these forwards.
He's solid. So
here's an OG for us, a friend of ours, Kane from Dyson Logistics. If you need logistical help and you can't go to Amerex, don't tell Dino I said that. Go to Dyson Logistics. Kane, Hazo in early is the sign of 25. Hopefully it's a sign of 26, 27, 28.
he just seems to find a way. No matter what he's doing, he's always in and around.
It's hard to stop, man.
He's a big body, and as that tall, rangy guy, he's hard to stop, hard to tackle.
The forward pack, I said it a few times now, the forward pack were really good, from the starters to the guys at the end. And I noticed how big a pack we have this year.
Yeah, massive.
There was that thing, remember, was it maybe 2023? Maybe less so last year, where it was all the guys are the same size. Remember that kind of?
Yeah.
I mean, it was true, but we
true.
heard a lot about that, and it was well, what can you do about it? Well, what you can do is you can buy guys that are bigger. So at the end, we had Felix Fartilli, who's 9 foot tall, and then we had our friend Tuku, who's about 8'7", and tall Tom Hazelton, who's about 8'6".
Brad Fernley's pretty tall.
Brad
I don't know how
Fernley.
tall he is, but he's pretty tall as well.
My new boy, Lockie Crouch.
Crouch is great. Yeah, and
He
he's
looked
big too.
fantastic. So, Kano, love you, man. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. The bench went up for negative reasons when they went left instead of going right for the field goal.
Yeah, right.
That was a bit disappointing.
It was a little bit, but these things happen. You got to iron out all the bugs in your first sort of preseason match, and obviously there were a few bugs out there, but off the back of a pretty solid preseason, everyone's looking pretty good, and there's lots to work on, obviously, but pretty positive signs to start.
Do you think Coach will mention that to Jaden Burrow?
Yeah, I'm sure he will. I'm sure Bez knows it already, but
it's a trial match. I really couldn't care less. I'm just saying that if you wanted to win that game, you might have got it if you went right.
Yeah, for sure, and he'd know that. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, it's a trial, and we want to win those competition points.
We do, especially in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Scott says Kafusi at lock was good to see. Having BHU, Hazelton, and Kafusi together at once made us look huge. It really did, Scott. I think I was trying to say that. You said it a lot more eloquently. Thank you. Those guys starting was amazing, and we were thinking about what happens when Cam McInnes is fit, which might be next week.
Yeah.
Any intel there?
I think so.
Not sure.
But most of our first grade guys will run out next week. So
so Cam had a minor injury, didn't play tonight, probably never was going to. But my point is, I wonder what role Kafusi may play throughout the year now that we know he can play lock.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw the back end of last year, he was out on the field as a front rower for the whole first half a couple of times. And, when he needs to do those minutes, he's there and he can do it. But, now we've got a guy like Hohepa who's, he was playing lock, he was playing dummy half. He's a pretty versatile little dude and, plays well above his weight. So it'll be interesting to see how Fitzy shuffles everyone around and what our bench looks like come round one.
Hohepa also had a motor on him.
Yeah, he is. Apparently a lot of Canberra fans were pretty disappointed that he left. So, he was looking after himself and his family and came here and he's making the most of his opportunity.
Now, if Michael Langridge is watching or listening, block your ears. Would you rather live in Canberra or in Cronulla?
Easy.
With your brother?
What? I don't know.
Twin brother.
He lives up here.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Oh, wait, I thought you were talking about Michael.
No, yeah, Michael's from Canberra.
Yeah.
I mean, the Piri brothers.
He'd rather live up here for sure.
What I didn't know, I discovered today through media dude Troy at the Sharks, is that they're 2/3 of triplets.
Yeah, right. I didn't know that either.
unless he's
He might be revving me up, but we'll see. I'll find
it's
out.
not Troy style to rev me up.
Troy's the most honest bloke. in
I
the building.
believe they're triplets. If someone he could confirm, and I said, does he play footy? The other guy, because we should sign him, and he wasn't sure.
Yeah, right. Let's look into that.
Wonder-
Okay,
wonder
I'll
if
come
it's
back next time
might be
and I'll
a-
let you know.
A bit of a jab. Sean says Tuku looked like he'd slimmed down. He looks pretty fit.
Yeah.
He's always been pretty fit. I know he has that image of like being so tall and big, but I mean, the few times I've talked to him in the flesh, he's just got like a 35 pack on him. Like he's a muscly dude. So either way, he looked terrific. He had made some nice runs.
Yeah, he was pretty solid off the bench. He
Yeah.
made a bit of impact. He's always hard to bring down. He always needs 2 or 3 guys on him to bring him down. So, that's the sort of thing we're looking for from Tooks, and he's went out there and done his job.
And when you're looking for trouble, go
There he
find
is.
this guy on the screen. Our friend Joe, while we're giving cheap plugs, we'll give one to Mr. Paisley's down at Carrying Bar. You better have my long black with 1 sugar ready in the morning, my friend. I got a feeling I'm going to need it. Joe is a massive Sharks fan, and do want to send our love to Joe, because his family's had a bit of a tough time lately, so he knows we're thinking of him. Joe's actually jetting off to England to take care of some business to do with the family in the next week, but he'll be back to make coffee for everyone in a couple of weeks. So Joe, thanks for tuning in, brother. Say hello to everyone if you're still with the crew. You know who I'm talking about. And yes, Shark Park, good crowd. Did we take an attendance? Probably not.
We could find out a number, but it was more than we were expecting, so that's always a good sign.
The 3 stands were pretty full for people
Yeah.
who couldn't see that on the TV. They were pretty full, and crowd was into it. It's good for what you want to see. And Coach Fitzgibbon mentioned the fan day, which I'm sure a lot of our listeners and viewers were at, and he said there was like 1,000 people in the scorching sun? No, in the wind and rain, whatever it was.
Yeah, the line went all the way around the corner and up the next street.
Yeah,
so
waiting
it's good.
to talk to our players. So the buzz is high as per walking around on around the concourse before the game and people coming in. People were pretty amped, and a few people stopped me to say g'day, and they're pretty pumped. So it's a good way to be. And nothing tonight took away that excitement. I'm actually kind of glad, even though we bang on about the result not mattering, which it doesn't. I'm glad we got the draw rather than the loss.
Yeah, for sure. It felt a bit better when we got the points back there at the end and everything leveled out, because, it would have felt not disappointing, but pretty flat if we walked away with a loss there.
I thought Dan Atkinson really put his foot down and, for next man up in the halves, if not utility off the bench.
Yeah.
Looks even more mature as a footballer and handy. Like nothing he did horrified me.
Yeah, well, we've seen what he can do last year, and we know what he's capable of. And, obviously there's a lot of different combinations out there that haven't spent a lot of time next to each other or doing a lot of things during the preseason. So, to take control of the team with Nephi and do their best out there, it's that was sort of what we were looking for from him. So it was good.
What'd you make of Nephi's game?
Yeah, he had a bit of a quiet one for me, but he does what he needs to do. Like, he controls the game really well. He's not that flashy half that's out there doing those big moves. Like, he's just doing his job and getting through his work. And, he does exactly what he's asked and what he's needed to do. So, no bad things to say about Nephi's game. He's pretty solid in defense. I thought Atko was really good in defense as well. Like, for 2 halves, had a few big bodies running at them in those Warriors pack, but they handled it pretty well.
I think with Nephi, the fact that he's a bit of a catch and pass man, get through your job without much fuss, I think that's completely okay.
Good
when you have like
game.
an Atkinson around, or if you were playing with a Nico or a Trindle, he can just sort of sit back and do that. And he looked pretty steady. Like, he had a great year last year in Cup. We know that.
Yeah.
The next hurdle for him is to make the step into first grade. And tonight was a good chance. And he'll probably get another shot next week at some point. He may not start the trial, but he'll be playing.
Yeah, definitely. So, I like Nephi's game. And, watching him all through last year through Cup, he's a good young player. So, good to have him in the squad.
Our friend Nissa GTR fan said Tom Hesden looked very good tonight. And I agree. He did. And he played like a man who is off contract. No, I'm kidding. He looked good.
Yeah.
He definitely didn't do any damage to, in all seriousness, his contract talk. Like, I thought that he was quite noticeably putting in and making meters. And It's only a trial match, but again, he probably looked 5-10% above where he was last year.
Yeah, and he's always had that work ethic of trying to get better and trying to do more for the team. And you can see tonight that preseason that he's had, it's paying off. So hopefully that rolls into round one, and we'll see how he goes.
Fitz says, thoughts on roll balls a thing, interrupt the flow, is that a 6 again thing? I'm not sure, Fitz, on that.
There's a lot of those penalties, though, wasn't there?
There was.
Picking it out a lot.
There was. I can look at the stats here while just getting really glamorous with my hairline there. If we go to our little stats page here, penalties were 7-5 to the Warriors. Set restarts were 5 for us, none for them. So, yeah, it could be a thing, man, that I don't know. We'll have to look at that one a bit heavier. Sean says they should police it. He hates the lazy play the ball. Question for Gary from Danny Lee. Now, it's not former Shark Danny Lee, who may or may not be Hall of Fame night in the house. We have to get that list of who's going to be here. But Hall of Fame, Tuesday the 18th of this month, so a couple of Tuesdays away,
yes,
at Sharks Stadium. If you want to come along, this guy's going to be here. Are you going to be here?
I will be here.
I'm going to be here, and a bunch of us are going to be here having some fun like this. And a lot of legends are going to be in the house. And I'm not sure if Danny Lee, the footballer, will be here or not, but he did play a lot of games for us, so who knows. But our Danny Lee says, is that hat available at the Shark store?
It is. It's a fresh one. I only got it when I just got back from Bali.
Is it a corduroy?
It's a cord one. It's beautiful. Look at that.
It's nice.
It's a great hat. I'm a bit of a hat man.
You're a hat man.
Who watches me knows I'm always wearing a hat, and this is one of my new favorites. So
there you go, Danny. Straight from the source.
Grab one.
There's a lot of the Vegas stuff has hit the store.
Yes, it has.
Looks pretty good if you're into that kind of thing.
It's different but cool. I love it.
Joey Jojo's back, and he said can't let Tall Tom go elsewhere. I agree. Yeah. He's a good player. He's got time on his side, and he's got that size about him that not a lot of players have. So I think the problem is the money. You know, the Sharks probably have a thought in mind about what they want to pay him and what they can pay him, not so much what they want, what they can. And it's up to Tall Tom and his manager to work out where he wants to be and what it means. He might be able to make more money elsewhere, but maybe he won't have as much fun. He might not play as many finals games, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm sure they're working all that out as we speak. There's no immediate hurry. Like, he is off contract, but he's ours all this year. So, I mean, the decision doesn't have to be made tomorrow, but
you'd rather lock him up early.
You'd rather lock him up. Maybe that's what he is going to do, is just back himself and play week in, week out. Yep. And then if he plays well, it's happy days for him. So, but we agree, Joe. We like Tall Tom. He's a good player, good fella, with a lot more upside to him, I would think.
Yes.
Now, let's talk a little bit more players, Gary, while we have you here.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse the shot, guys. I'm pretty happy with the setup tonight, I got to say. Like, I got here early, I set up nice. Touch wood, they're looking okay, Gary. I think we're sounding okay audibly. I sound like a babbling idiot, but audibly we sound okay. The one thing is I should have had something here so I could not reach over. And
that's all right.
Anyway,
we learn.
We move on. Will Kennedy, what did you make of his game? He played, the first half? Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the first half, and then he came off. I think it was a little bit into the back end of that half he came off. But as I said in the first half show, I thought his first 5 minutes was really good, and then he sort of quieted off at the back end of that half. And yeah, he didn't need to go out there and do too much. He knows what he does, and he does it with a lot of the other first grade guys, running those shapes around the back that we know he can run. So I'm looking forward to Will's year. He's put on a bit of size, he's put on a bit of muscle. So I'm happy to see where he's at this stage of the preseason, and I'm looking forward to seeing him run around with the first grade guys. Yeah,
trials are tricky because you can't really do too many trick shots, right?
Yeah.
You just want to get through your sets, get
hold the ball.
Some fitness in, hold the ball. I thought that overall we held the ball better than what they did. Like, we had a few, I'd say 2 or 3 more drop ball than what I would have liked. But
yeah,
for a trial match in 55-degree weather,
it's hot.
I thought that they actually did pretty good, the Sharks, and that's a good sign. If you can hold the ball in this sort of weather, it's a good sign.
Especially like the side that they trotted out there. It's a pretty
Yes.
solid side. So
Yeah.
to be able to hold our own and, get those young guys and those combinations cranking for depth, I think we did pretty well.
Now, Scott's asking who we would have as backup fullback, and his choices are Mawini Harotti, Liam Eisen, or Dan Atkinson. That's a great question, Scotty. Thanks for letting us know that question. I personally would have...
It's a tricky question, right? Like Iso is an out-and-out fullback. Harotti's got that versatility where you can play in the centers, you can play on the wing, you can play, a few different positions. Fullback.
I got to go out and out fullback, Gary. I got to go Liam. I know that he's young. I know that he's still growing, but he showed against the Cowboys that he's tough enough to play the game.
Absolutely.
He'll only be better for that run, and he's a specialist fullback. So I think that's who I would go with. Would you go with him?
Yeah, for sure.
I think the pros with the other guys, Atkinson's pretty zippy. He can play so many different positions. We've seen that.
Good ball player.
And with Mawini, he just gets better every year. Like he started out a bit shaky. We all know that in the top grade. Maybe he came into grade too early. It was a bit, we need you, go to your best kind of thing. But he's improved a lot. Like he's improved a lot to the point where he's getting contracts. He's playing rep footy.
Yep.
And I think if you put him at fullback, he wouldn't let you down. I don't know if his body shape and style necessarily suits fullback, but I don't think he'd let you down.
Yeah, he's more a centre.
Yeah, he's probably a bit sort of stocky maybe, or something about him. He's definitely not as rangy or quick as the other two fellows. But great question. Danny says, where does Dykes fit into the side? Ooh, it's a good question.
Tricky one, isn't it?
I always think of him as a 5'8" before fullback, and he can play both. Like he's obviously played NRL fullback in a couple of games. I think he needs to get some serious cup football into his legs. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, he's missed a lot of time, so he needs to just get back on the field, and that's the first step in his sort of rehab and everything like that. But yeah, we want to see him out there just as much as everyone else does. So
yeah,
looking forward to when he does get out there, and where that is, I don't know. But yeah, as you said, I like him at 5'8".
We're kind of blessed for a few years to have all these guys at our fingertips. Now you can't keep the same guys forever. We know this.
Yeah.
But it's kind of nice knowing that if the fullback goes down, well, then Ison can play. Or if Dykes is fit, maybe he plays.
Yeah.
Maybe Dykes is neck and neck with Ison if Dykes can get the fitness happening. So there's a long way to go in this year. Obviously, it's just starting, but the depth is really good. It's been pretty good under Fitz now for 4 years, in the fourth year now, but depth has, particularly last year, now this year with Fanua Blake coming, the depth is looking pretty good. Kane from Dyson Logistics says 2025 prediction. Well, you're a brave person making a prediction in trial number 1, aren't you, Kano? But I see us in the top 4. I do. I know that you think I'm a homer, but actually I am a homer. But top 4 is where we're going to be. How high we finish depends only on injuries for me. I think this team can play out of their skin. I think that Nico's going to have a massive year. And if we're not in the top 4, I would be vastly disappointed, to put it that way. I think that and I also think we've got to be in the prelim. Get to the prelim and make the magic happen into the grand final. But that's what I think. And that's honest to God, my thoughts. I'm not just saying it because I'm sitting in a Sharks corporate box or whatever. I think we're top 4 bound, and it will depend on injuries, how far we go.
I'm with you.
You with me? We've got some more. It's great to hear from everyone. Kyle Eroda looks like the best center on the field while he was out there tonight. Yes.
I think he does.
I thought he was good.
Fancy players.
What's that?
I love Kale. I think he's easily going to be one of the best centers.
I was surprised that he played, actually. Out of most of the guys that played, who are the regular NRL guys, I was surprised that he was asked to play. I guess it's a fitness thing.
Yeah, I think so. I think he just needs to get some meters in the legs. So good to see him out there and playing well as always. Defensively, he's such a solid defender, and yeah, we know what he's like breaking tackles. So good to see him out there and having a crack.
Fitz says, just in terms of your engagement, should the hallmark players be brought on towards the end of the game? Look, if you ask my friends at Fox Sports, they'd probably say yes. But how you going? We're doing a live post-trial podcast, and we got Gaz.
You sound surprised, Vince.
Do you want to sit down, Vince?
Thank you.
Okay.
But I think I might be okay.
All right.
Done.
Gaz is our man.
I am. Thanks, Vince.
See you,
Appreciate
Vince. Vince is a very powerful figure in the Sharks. He's outside the door listening. That's all I'm going to say. Brendan says, yeah, in terms of your engagement, so maybe you think it's some sort of rule, 70th minute, you got to bring on a few guys. It's a very network question. I like it, Fitz. I like the question. I don't really think it. I don't think it really matters at this point. But yeah,
Not worth the risk.
it's not worth the risk. I'll give you that. Kane says next level this year, settled group edition of AFB and a Hungry Heinz. Hey, we might be using that one.
Hungry Heinz.
Hungry Heinz.
I'm with you, Ken.
Kane knows well, I like that. Hungry Heinz. Everybody needs a Hungry Heinz. Recipe for magic. Love it. Love it. Love it. I've been to a lot of games with Kane. He has seats in the lower ET right behind the players. He sits with the legendary Craig and Mark Horn and Tom. But we've been to a bunch of finals games together, some memorable ones. Good fella. Good fella. But you didn't tune in to hear about my life. Just looking at some of the other players, what did you make? I thought Chris Vela had a mixed game. I know he got hammered on the sideline here, but it's good to see him out there mixing with the big boys. We know he was close to playing NRL last year.
Yeah.
Good to see those guys out there.
Yeah, for sure. Like you see these young guys go through preseason and bust their guts to try and get their shot, and obviously to see him run out and have a crack, it's always good to see. And yeah, he had a mixed bag, but I thought, I've seen enough footy from him to know like he's a good player and he's going to go somewhere. And yeah, he got absolutely creamed there in the second half, but he's a good fella. So yeah,
we're gonna have a real battle for that forward pack, man.
For sure. Like you look at our depth, it's just nuts. And like Toby,
so Toby's not even
injured, like
ready till probably early in the season, probably around 3 or 4 they're penciling him in for. And you'd think given his experience and he'll come straight back in, or at least if he plays cup, the aim is to get him in the first grade. Whether he's starting or not, I'm not sure. But add Toby to what we've seen tonight, and then Fanua Blake, Cam McInnes, like there's a lot of good middles. And what I saw tonight was really impressive. I thought Tuku was really good. I think that he has a really big future. I think if they just, if he and the club can get it right, I think he could be not only just a cult favorite, but I think he can do some damage.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he's got that body shape. He's got that drive to, he goes out there and makes an impact. He knows that's his job. He knows he's not out there for a 50-minute match, but he knows when he's out there, he needs to do something with the ball, and he gets it and runs hard and tackles hard, and that's all you can ask of him.
He's got that beautiful late offload in him as well, like flying to the ground, boom. Like it's just, really good to watch. Hopefully he gets some time this year because, he can do some damage. And that's the difference in the forward pack compared to the last few years, which we were talking about with the different size players, different shapes. Yeah, sure. We have lost Jack Williams, we have lost Royce Hunt, and I'm sure we'll miss them from time to time. But I think that, obviously Fanua Blake is, one of 3 best props in the world. But they've also just got these guys coming through. Now Tuku's had a season in first grade. Maybe he gets more time this year. Really exciting. And I thought the forwards were great tonight. I know I'm harping on about the forwards, but I thought they were really, really great. I loved watching the young halves out there in Ford and Pollard. Both really good talents. They took the Flegg team they took to the grand final?
Yeah.
They won 9 or 10 games in a row. And they look good tonight. I'm glad they got a shot. They got 10, 15 minutes out there, which was cool. It would have been cool to see one of them kick the winning field goal. It wasn't meant to be. I'm not harping on that, but that was pretty exciting. We were all up off our feet going, go right, come on. We were saying it calmly because it's only a trial. Sam McCulloch was out there, our Flegg captain. He looked pretty good. He's a work in progress, but he's a good size too for a growing lad.
We've got a lot of big young fellas, don't we? And they all, they've got that work ethic from looking at guys like Finucane and McInnes and the guys that they've done the last couple of preseasons with, like, you can tell they know what it takes and they're willing to go that extra mile to get it done. And yeah, I think we've got a lot of good young fellas coming through that know what needs to be done to achieve what they want to achieve, and it's only going to help us as a club.
Now, we don't know what goes on in other clubs, to be perfectly honest, but the way that Coach Fitzgibbon and his staff bring in these kids and they train with them. Some of them train with them throughout the whole year. You'll come here on a Tuesday or a captain's run, and they'll be the opposing team, but they also get to just do their own thing. They do the extras with the first graders.
Yeah.
And that all matters because it comes to nights like this and they sort of know what's going on and they're ready to take the ball. And I think that, yeah, the coaching staff at the moment, or the last few years, is so stable. And I'm glad there were rumors that, not rumors, I think Josh Hannay went for the Eels job. Price is always in demand, but it was so good that we've kept the same coaches as well. Big Felix Vitali, he was good. Almost 50 meters from 6 runs. He will be a cult favorite if he gets some sort of a shot.
Yeah, for sure.
How old is he?
I don't know. He's only young.
Is he under 20?
He'd be close. Yeah.
He's around that. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully the TV, if you weren't at the game, the TV does him justice because he's a really, really big unit and a long way to go in development, but it's fun to see those sort of guys.
Fafita loves him.
Yeah, right. Scott says, hard to say with Sifa's limited time tonight, but he had a few nice moments. I thought he played really good, actually. I don't know how many moments he played for, but I thought he had some really nice hits and touches. If we had an injury in the second row, who would you go with, Sifa or Burns? Does it matter what side they're on, maybe? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Billy's a left.
Sifa was left too, wasn't he?
Yeah, right.
Tough question.
You probably go with
I'd
Sifa
go
just for the experience, yeah. But Billy Burns, he's a really respected guy around this club, and don't be surprised if you see him in first grade. He played a bit last year and he was great. I don't know what the hot take is. Our friend here is answering a question. I don't know what it is, but I believe that your hot take is also in agreement with our hot take. Oh, no, hang on. Here it is. Sorry. Wait, what's going on? Oh, the club might only end up keeping one of Tall Tom or Tuku. Ooh. Well, okay.
It's a hot take, but it makes sense.
Got to keep one.
Who would you keep, Troy?
So we've been joined by Troy at Sharks Media. Do you want to grab a mic, Troy, and get on air? No?
Come on, Troy.
You don't have to. You don't have to. Troy's done enough for us tonight.
He has.
Box. He let me get a Pepsi and sandwich. I would keep Tuku.
Really?
Yeah. Don't tell Tom that.
Interesting.
If I had to.
What's
Only if
the
I had to.
reasoning? I need more than just that.
That's fair enough. I think there's more upside. So Tall Tom's going great, and we know what he can do. And I feel like he can do more. But Tuku, I think, ticks more boxes. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Hopefully, it doesn't get back to Tall Tom. He's very tall. Tim says Sifa is his preferred replacement. Yeah, fair enough. And he looked slim, Tuku, and moved quicker tonight, finding a new style ear to his game. Yeah, I mean, he definitely looked good tonight. Looked fresher. Maybe it's a round one trial thing. I don't know. But he looked good. He looked good. And I think with him, he just needs some time.
Yeah.
You know, like he needs time on the field to impress. And he can shine. He said he led the chase, the ball. Oh, okay. Yeah. He's in there. He's active. And Tim also says, very impressive for a big man. Yeah, absolutely. We love him. We love him. Anything else to discuss before we get out of here, young Gary? What do we got next week? We've got Thursday night. We've got the Raiders.
Raiders in Canberra, yeah.
Am I pulling with you or are you pulling with me?
We've got to work all that out. But I'll be down there. You'll be down there. Troy will be down there. You going down?
Sounds like
Troy's
fun.
going down.
Okay. Canberra, again, people didn't shoot it here about our travel arrangements. Canberra next Thursday. It'll be on the KO Foxtel if you can't be at the game. If you can, I'm sure the team and the club would appreciate your support. We will see close to the Vegas team for at least half a game, you'd think, which is exciting.
Yeah.
Canberra would have their almost Vegas team as well. They're playing the Warriors over there. That's next Thursday. I'm guessing it's 7:30, 7:50 kickoff, something like that. Check your local guides.
Yeah.
Then we come back here for Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Now, I have got a link in the audio podcast. When you go to the audio podcast, there's links for tickets. If you don't go to our podcast, you just watch this, whatever, just go to Sharks website, most likely, and you can get a ticket to the Hall of Fame. You can see all my favorite players just from the past. And the current guys will be around too, doing things. And there'll be just a great buzz. There's going to be some nice surprises happening, some of which were almost revealed in the Sharks newsletter this week. I don't know if you guys got the newsletter today, but in one of the segments from all the employees, I'm not going to say what it is, but if people got the email, they can read it. They mention something might be happening to do with Hall of Fame. And if you read the email, you can take with it what you will. Troy didn't do his proofreading properly. Troy, you missed Vince come in and offer Gary more money to stay. True story. Tim said, long time listener, first time YouTuber. Tim just discovered what we look like.
How good.
Hey, he's pretty superstarish. Sorry about all me. Dan says, where is Ducks training, halves or fullback? Can you help us out here, Gary?
I haven't been to training once this preseason, Troy. Duxie. Training
Position. He's more.
Training
He's coming out of rehab. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's not fully training yet, is he? No.
No. So he's just working his way back as far as fitness and the knee and everything
We'll
else.
let you know.
I would. Well, it's hard to say because he's so versatile.
Yeah, he is.
There was the mad rumor that he was going to play center, which might still be.
That's right.
That was from Fitz to Riccio to the world. So, NS says, thoughts on Melbourne getting an NFL season game and picks for Monday? Oh, I like this question. It's ridiculous that Melbourne are getting it. It should be at Sydney. It should be at Shark Stadium. And it should be the Vikings versus the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, that'd be good.
That'll get the people in. Look, it's awesome. It's coming to Australia. So absolutely, that's awesome. And I can't wait to see who the other teams are going to be. It's Rams v someone and probably someone different every year. And picks for Monday, it's super tough for me to decide.
I want the Eagles to win.
Yeah, but who do you think's going to win?
I think the Eagles can do it.
Okay. You think Barkley's going to go nuts?
I think Barkley's going to go nuts.
I think if he goes
I think
nuts.
AJ Brown, and I just think they've got a bit of stuff everywhere. Devonta Smith, Barkley, AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts. I feel like they can do it. They can get it done. As long as the refs don't help the Chiefs.
Well, they're going to. That's what they do. I think that if the running back goes nuts, they're a real chance. Otherwise, if they can contain him, I feel like Kansas will win by 3 points or a point or whatever. And old mate tight end's going to get a touchdown, and
He can't.
that's what's going to
Not
happen.
about that life.
So, apologies to any Kansas fans out there. Kieran, who was here before, he's a big Philly fan, so he's a bit on edge about life in general. And I give him a lot of stick for being a Philly fan. And if you know why, you know why. You know, Philly fans, come on, man. And Shanaz just got beaten up outside the stadium. Tim said we're both 10s. Appreciate it. NS is saying Philly, baby. Well, good luck. Fly, Eagles, fly, man. Let's go. Love it. So Hall of Fame is here. And then it's Vegas time.
Yes.
Those fortunate enough to go to Vegas will be going to Vegas, which is going to be a lot of fun. Any word for people going to Vegas, Gary? Fans, supporters, what can they expect? What can they look out for?
A lot of it's run by the NRL, so everything that they've kind of put out is what's happening.
You guys love that answer. It's just true. It's true.
It is. We don't have much say in what happens.
The big one
outside of our training.
The big one
times.
I'm getting asked is there an open training session? And there's not. There's
Don't
not
think
an
so,
open
no.
training session. The best you can do is you can go to Resorts World and it'll be advertised leading up to it.
Yeah, we have
But
a
there's
signing session there, and
Signing session,
Fan
fan
fest.
events. So
lots of stuff.
that's what's going to happen. I'm sure more news will come in the coming weeks. and it's going to be a great occasion. Tim said, Gary, well, yeah, you know he is.
I went to school with Tim.
Oh,
And
did
he's
you?
going to be there.
Is he?
So he's going to be the one running him
So
up.
Gary and Tim will run amok. You know who's not going to run amok? This guy.
I don't believe you.
I'm not going to run amok. I'm just going to have some fun.
I'm going to make you get a tattoo or something.
tattoo. Way.
We're in Vegas. Anything
What,
can
like
happen.
Sharks 2016 or something?
No. I mean, my face. Or Gaz and Shanaz. We'll bring that back.
Yeah, Gaz and Shanaz. That'd be good. Maybe if I get the tattoo, they'll allow us to do the show.
Let's do it.
You got a
We've got
tattoo.
to
You
test
got
that. We've
to
got to test the waters, so we'll sort that out.
We can do the show while I'm getting a tattoo and I'm just crying like a person in pain. Let us know if you're going to Vegas. We're going to be having some fun there as SharkCasters, and we'll definitely have a gathering, and we'll see what else we can do for you. No promises, but we're teeing up some stuff. So if you want to be involved with that, best to follow our socials, and that's the best way to stay in touch, I reckon. Otherwise, you can shoot me an email, sharkcastpod@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you when I can. Gary, I know you're looking at your watch. You've
I've
got
50 million messages. I'm sorry.
any of them from Vince?
There's a couple from Troy. Sorry, Troy.
Wrap it up. I'm just happy we're back at Shark Park, man.
Absolutely.
Like, what a glorious place, and the team put on a really good performance. I think overall, coach is going to be happy. We haven't heard the presser, but I think overall we'll be happy with that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. So I'll be waiting to hear. Did he do no presser? There you go.
Well, we don't know what the
you,
coach
Troy.
thinks, but I'm assuming that he would be happy. Not doing a presser. The KO people won't be happy with that. Fitz is back. He said, I'm most keen to see how Kennedy, Katoa, Ramian, Nikora, and Multalo combine this year. Forwards to set the platform, but what we need is the points. Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, last year we saw a bit of a different style to the years before. The old slingshot with Kennedy was getting a bit predictable. They might bring that back a little bit. I'd love to see I'd love to see them all have monster years. I'd love to see Britton Nikora continue to climb. Like, he's already an almost elite second row if he's not already.
Yeah.
I would love him just to go even next level, like become the best. Like, some people think he's the best. Whether he is or not, I'm not sure. But I'd love to him just to be known as the best second row of the game.
Yeah, I think he is, if not one of the top two. And he's not number two for me.
Tim says one for the midweek podcast, but the board really missed an opportunity to call it Shark Park. Shark Stadium is just not giving it back to the fans. Well, I mean, I hear you. I think that if you call it Shark Park, no one's going to get annoyed at you. I think if Gary calls it Shark Stadium, it's probably for the better because that's his job to do it. But I think as fans, if you want to call it Shark Park, no one's going to really look down upon you. It's more of a corporate vibe. They're trying to sell the naming rights as they should, get some money for that. And I think calling it a stadium is a touch more professional. But Tim, I hear you, brother. I hear you. I know that there was a bit of confusion between the NRL and the Sharks. It was Shark Park, not Shark Park. It's Shark Stadium. We're going with that. But I hear you. We're here. It's all good. Appreciate your thoughts. Yeah.
Sorry.
Gary's got a message saying call it Sharks Stadium. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We're going to be doing pods throughout the week and the months and, dare I say, the years. So get in touch with the sharkcastpod@gmail.com. I noticed no one called in. The link was at the start and no one called in to talk to us. And that's a positive because only I would hear you. He wouldn't hear you, but I was going to relay the messages. But we're working on that tech. And next time, if you want to call in, you can. You don't have to. I'm not offended. I understand. Like, who would want to talk to us? But we'd love to know your thoughts. We love getting these messages, so keep doing that. Tim replied and said the fans are most important. And I agree. The fans are the most important things. This club, there were lots of fans here tonight. They were loving it. They were just loving it like you and I and you were loving it. It was a great place to be. And you're right. The fans are the most important thing. You know what? Get your voice heard, Tim. Write to the club. Write to the club. Let them know what you think. Tim wants me to post. Well, Tim, if you just scroll up, you'll find the the number, so to speak. I'll just post it here, but we are going to wrap up just as a heads up, but it's fine. We're all good. How good's this tech? We need Troy to assist us. No, we're good. Just having some fun. Hey, everyone, thanks for sticking around. It's a bit of on-the-fly kind of show. What'd you make of the Warriors?
Didn't pay too much attention, to be honest. I thought they were a bit worse than we were, and for the side that they ran out, I didn't think they did as well as they would have hoped they were doing.
I agree. I mean, I thought actually former Shark Luke Metcalf was decent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought overall they were a little bit lackluster. I thought our forwards dominated them. And yeah, interesting to see. Who did we say they're playing? They're playing the Raiders in Las Vegas.
Yes.
It'll be a close contest. What's your plan for game day in Vegas?
I'll be doing the usual with the team and on the field. So looking forward to that. It'll be a good experience at that stadium. Obviously watch a few NFL games there. And yeah, it's going to be great.
It's going to be a long day.
It will be. It will be. We don't have to be at the stadium, obviously, the whole time. But for the average punter out there, you will be. And it's going to be a very long day.
Our friend Nissan GTR fan said Sam Hill looked pretty good. He did. I didn't notice him come on the field. Then I saw a guy running around. I was like, hey, he looks really familiar.
Yeah,
oh, it's Sam Healy. And he signed a 3-year deal with the Warriors. Son of Mitch and local junior, great hooker. And we had to let him go. But he looked good. He looked good. He might get a shot sometime throughout the year.
I think he should.
Yeah.
Good hooker. Very good.
Mitch said, I don't think they have the right mix in the halves. Yeah, time will tell, I guess. Time will tell. They were a bit quiet tonight. I thought Metcalf actually did okay. Our friend Michael RCB says new screen looks good. That's a bit of an in-joke, but thank you, sir. And if you want to listen to Michael, he did a podcast with us in the last 48 hours. It's up on the YouTube. It's up everywhere you get podcasts, and we really focus on the Hall of Fame and some other stuff about 2025. So if you want to go listen to Michael, it's a pretty cool podcast. And Tim says 8 hours of footy will be brutal, especially when beers are about 25 Australian each. Yeah, look, the exchange rate's not great.
It's not good.
The prices are not great, but I think people going are aware of this. And if you're going, it means either you can afford it or you're making your way and finding a way to afford it. So, but you're right. The word brutal is it's very apt. It's very apt. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate you. We're going to wrap it up, though. We've got to get out of here and sort out our week. Gary literally has to pack up Shark Park because there are other teams coming here. Tomorrow night, if you're in the area, Panthers play.
Who cares?
The Raiders. Gary's out.
I have to go. I'm getting summoned.
I'm out.
Sorry, everybody.
We'll just
I'm
wrap.
on as long as I
We'll
can.
say goodbye.
Love you all.
Up Cronulla. Appreciate you all. This will be an audio podcast if you want to go that way. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon. Up Cronulla.